I'm your host, Kelly Morgan, indie author and indie publisher. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. Welcome to today's episode. Hey everybody, Kelly here. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. You know that it's a Monday because I'm not by myself. Today I have a guest, an author. His name is James Fouché. He is what I think is absolutely wonderful, a wine journalist. Ugh, how many of us would just love to just talk about wine all day, as long as we get to drink it too? And then he's also a crime novelist, and he's got a bunch of other things going on. So I can't wait to dive in with him today. James, welcome.
Hi there, Kelly. Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here.
Well, no. Thank you for coming on. And so I'm interested in how we got started. Number one, just as a wine journalist, right? But then kind of tell us about your writing story, your writing journey, and how you got to here with us today.
I think firstly, wine connects very nicely with the reading community. I think there's a little secret joke of book clubs that there will be more wine being drunk than pages being read. I think I always find myself in good company. Um, Wine has always been something that I quite enjoy. Living in South Africa, we've got a very decent wine community here, and we have been able to develop wines that go sort of quickly into the bottle, and still can be enjoyed. How that came to writing, I think when I was at school, funny little story how I got into writing. I was not doing very good at school. I was never a good kid at school. And I think one teacher said to me, "You're going to flunk your languages, and I mean, if that's going to be very bad for you. So why don't you see this as a way of making money? Why don't you rather write better stories and earn more points just on your essays?" Meaning sort of the points being the earning the money. And I did that, and I started writing better stories. And my stories got so good that they basically pulled me through school. I think if it wasn't for that one teacher reaching out to me and connecting with me and saying to me, "Listen, I can see you like telling stories. Why don't you use that to sort of get yourself through school?" I think I was on a downward path, and that really set me on the right path. And from there, book number one, book number two, big break, and then book number three. Yeah.
So tell us about the books. Are the books fiction? Like, what is the genre of book one, two, and then, as you said, book three?
So I live in South Africa where crime is unfortunately a harsh reality. I think it gets misinterpreted maybe quite a bit, but the reality is that it's a daily thing that we do face. And I think I've always enjoyed the idea of crime as a narrative form. And I started writing. My first book was about the drug scene in Cape Town. And when I was very young, I was working as a Kirby salesman in Cape Town. And I sort of saw the underbelly of the town, of the city sort of calling out to me. And that's how I came about the story that just sort of played off in this whole drug scene. And yeah, book number two also was more about the property crime in South Africa, which is something that's quite prevalent here. And my third one, the latest one, really digs deep into the current problem that we have. We've got a huge gang violence issue in South Africa. I think statistically, it's really very bad, and there's a lot of innocent people that gets trapped in that environment. So I think I think back while I was at school, I remember watching American movies like Boys in the Hood and those types of movies, and you go like, that was sort of the time that movies were really good. And I think what happened, the 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 South African community ended up sort of glamorizing this gangsterism lifestyle. And then yeah, in the late 90s, early 90s almost, it really started growing into this monster that can no longer be contained. we had groups called Bagat, which is a people against gangsterism and drugs. It's just a community basically standing up because the police can't sort of contain or control this movement. And even that, it just grew to this absolute behemoth at the moment, and this crime behemoth, and we can't break that hold. And it's not quite as organized as the mafia would be in America, where there would be a more organized crime. This is very disorganized. I mean, you've got gang shootouts happening left, right, and center, and a lot of innocents are getting caught in the crossfire. And it's in that scenario where I sort of sketched this last book all around.
Are the books, all three of them, are they fiction?
Yes, yes, they are all fiction, but I do pull on a thread of truth. So every one of the books have got a sort of backbone that I borrowed from local stories that has happened, real occurrences, and I use that as a backbone. And then, I think authors have the ability to exaggerate more along the lines of this is what could happen. This is the worst case scenario if we don't wake up. Like, this is the bus, it's coming. This is how it's going to hit. We still have the opportunity to stop this crash from happening. Um, so I think we hypothesize, we sort of experiment with what could happen. So yes, even though I write fiction, I like to believe that if we're not careful, that this is where the stories are going.
Well, they say there's a little truth in all fiction, right? Just a little,
Yeah.
just a little. So if somebody wanted to get the books and, read and kind of follow you along as an author, how would we go about doing that?
Well, I'm available everywhere on all platforms from Amazon through to Kobo to any platform that you can have.
What are the name
Um,
of the books? That's what I wanted to
oh,
ask. Yeah, what
cool.
are the names?
Okay. Well, okay. So the first one is called Jack Hanger, which is a slight reference to the butcher bird we have in South Africa. It's called a Jackie Hangman. Also, the second one is called King of Sorrow. And the third one is called Gray, where the spelling is American spelling, Gray, for the color gray, even though it is written in South African English. But the GRAY that's referred to there is actually the unit, the measuring unit that they use for cancer treatment, the method of radiotherapy that they use.
And so you said they're available on Amazon and other places. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's jamesfouché.com, and all my social handles are predominantly at James Fouché Writes. So, and I'm happy to engage with anyone. I love engaging with the readers. So, if they are interested, they can always connect with me.
You had mentioned that there was a gap in between book two and three. How long was the
Yeah.
gap? And then what was the motivation to get book three out there?
Well, let's first discuss the motivation for the 10-year gap. Kids. So, I think very much like Shakespeare. I mean, Shakespeare met he met his wife, Anne of Green Gables, right? And Anne Hathaway. She was a farmer's girl. He met her, and then they went off to the countryside and had three babies in quick succession. And then for 7 years, gone. No Shakespeare, gone. Right? It's called. I mean, if you want to Google the Shakespeare's missing years, there's been a lot of talking about that because having kids is an adjustment, right? I mean, it's not. I mean, if it can set someone like Shakespeare back, then it'll set anybody else back. So book number two was basic. I was really like getting into the limelight as a writer, and I got good reviews. And then yeah, we struggled for very long and hard to have kids. It was an absolute nightmare because of my wife having endometriosis, a long operation. But when we were finally able to have kids, there was this big finger that reached into my life and pressed pause. So for 10 years, I put everything aside. I made the decision to just focus on my family, on my kids. I wanted to be there for the foundation years. I grew up with an absent father, so I wanted to not be that. I wanted to be very, very present. So I took the 10 years to be a present dad, and that's how I came to the third novel. So the third novel was almost a consequence of my master's degree. I did a MA in creative writing, and while I was there, this story of Grey really sort of tickled me in the back the whole time, and yeah, it just had to come out. So that was book number three.
Fantastic. Let me go over my laundry list of things before I let you go. So, as you guys know, if you are a writer and you want to be on the show, it's really easy to be on the Author's Mic. You just go to my website, go to the tab, be a guest, and boom, you're a guest. I promise you, it is literally that easy. If you are on your writing journey, but you're stuck, I have a free guide. It's 44 pages. It's a beautiful flip book now. And then you can also get the PDF. It's free. Go get it, 44 pages, go get it. If you want to support me as a writer, I have two books out there. You Sound White and Wait for It. Both of them are available on the website. I'm happy to ship them to you. I've got free goodies, but you can get them wherever good books are sold. And then lastly, y'all, we have a book club. It's called the IRS. It is a book club, so you can join us as a reader and you can pitch us as an author. Right now, we're not reading anything. We're gonna gear up for February and looking for something to read. So if you're an indie author and you're thinking, I'm thinking about pitching a book club, pitch us. All the information is on the website. So, James, you've got
Amazing.
these three books out there. Wine Journalist, which I think is just fabulous. What a fabulous job, a title for a job, wine journalist. But I talk to a lot of people most people, everybody that I talk to, mostly everybody wants to write a book, right? Few do actually write it, and even fewer publish. So you've
Mhm.
published your books, you've done this, you even took a break and did the third. So if somebody was, kind of toying with the idea of this is going to be the year that they get their book out there, what advice would you give to that person who's kind of struggling and just doesn't know what to do or where to start, or maybe they just have a little bit of fear?
That is a very, very difficult question right now, I think. Well, difficult, but also interesting in a good way. I think we're going to have a lot of writers pop up now, especially with AI being used. I think a lot of people are dipping into that pool. And that has led to a very strict constraint happening in the traditional publishing world. So traditional publishing has really tightened up. So as much as that has expanded and more people have started dipping into the AI writing, or just is just way more writers out there. But at the same time now the traditional publishing has closed up. So I think there's going to be a massive avenue towards self-publishing. And then that'll create a lot of noise on the shelves. So you're going to struggle to find shelf space if you're in that space. So you'll have to differentiate yourself by either finding your unique voice, but then also really dedicating yourself to editing. And I don't just mean grammar editing. I mean, you've got loads of creative tools that will help you with editing. Get creative editing, you get someone to help you that can help you sort of chisel out the story, the characters, help you with the characters arc, the narrative arc. Those little tools that always help to build a proper story that people can really invest in, a hero that people can actually enjoy, a meaty character. I think that gets lost quite a bit when people only focus on the grammatical error, editing in that regard. So I think it's an interesting space. I would encourage everyone look at the creative editing.